Gang, today we're going to be looking at graphing real life functions. So it would help if you knew what a function is. So in algebra, a function is an equation that produces an output given an input. It is the work you do to a number to get another number. So think of an equation written in two variables, one with x and one with y. The input is the x, the output is the y. If I put something into that equation for x, I'm going to get out a number for y. So you've probably seen some of the problems we're going to look at today last year when you were in 7th grade math. But we want to make sure we remember how to do them because they are going to get a little bit more challenging later in the week. So here we have a bakery sells 12 cupcakes for $39. Complete the table below and graph a line that represents the cost of any number of cupcakes. So that 39 is in a different color because it's different than what's in your notes. So please make sure you fix that so that it matches what I'm going to be doing. All right, so if 12 cupcakes cost $39, obviously we can put in 12 and 39. Obviously, if I don't purchase any cupcakes at all, I'm not going to be charged anything, so that's $0. Six cupcakes would be half of 12 cupcakes, so half of 39 would be 19.50. 24 would be double 39, so 39 times 2 is 78. And 30 would be 24 plus 6, or 78 plus 1950, which is like doing 78 plus 20, which is 98, but subtracting the 50 cents, so 97.50. So now that I've got the table complete, I can set up my graph. Now, I've set up how I want you to do your X and Y axes. Sometimes I will give that to you, sometimes I won't, and you'll have to use the information to best spread out the information and graph it so that everything fits. So obviously the bottom is the origin, 0, and it wants our y-axis to go up in multiples of 10. So I'm going to do every other by 20, so I'm not squeezing all these numbers in. And then on my x-axis, it says numbers of cupcakes in intervals of 3. So each one would be 3, or every other by 6. And now I can graph the data that we have in the table. So 0, 0 is our origin and our first point. 6, 1950 is right below 20. 12, 39 right below 40. 24, 78, a little bit below 80. And 30, 97.50, a little bit below 100. And all of these points line up perfectly in a straight line, which means not only is this a function, but it's what we call a linear function. And since it crosses through the origin, it's what we know is called proportional. It's got a proportional relationship. And that you learned last year in your math class. All right, so now we're going to use that information to come up with an equation. So hopefully you remember from last year how to create such an equation. Now, we want to write this not in terms of x and y, but in terms of C of n and n. N being the number of cupcakes, C of n being the cost as a function of the number of cupcakes bought. So if you remember from last year, when you want have a proportional relationship, it's the change in the y value over the x value. So in this case, it was $39 for 12. So we can do some division there. 12 goes into 39 3 times. That's 36 with 4 left over, or 3 left over, so 3/12, and 3/12 is equal to 1/4 or a quarter. So our constant is 325. So now we can write our equation. C of n, or the cost as a function of the number of cupcakes, is equal to 325 n, 325 per cupcake. So now we can solve these two other questions. If n is 18, find C of n. So we want to know the cost if we're purchasing 18 cupcakes. So we do 325 times 18. You can use your calculator. And 325 times 18 is $58. So these better be some pretty fancy cupcakes. Now for the next one, we want to figure out the cost being $273, how many cupcakes we purchased. So now we can substitute 273 in for C of n and solve for n. So we divide by 325, divide by 325. And again, here the goal is just to get the answer, so don't struggle with that math. 273 divided by 325 is 84. So 84 cupcakes were purchased if $273 was spent. Okay, so you are now going to finish numbers 2 and 3 on your own with a partner at your table. All right, and I'll be coming around to help you guys out as needed.